All right, and we are live. We're back, everyone. Apologies for the technical issues. We just had to switch to Zoom. OBS has been acting up. Not sure why. Maybe some kind of update. But either way, we have the one and only Robert Crypto Beadles. Welcome back, my man.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it. And hello again, everybody. Let's try this again.
All right. So yeah, let's try it again. Tell us once again. Give us a quick rundown on yourself.
Sure. All right. Let's see if I can do this again. So, as always, a Christian husband, father. So that's the most important thing to me, obviously. And then from there, I've been with my wife since we were 14 years old. So I've been with her for a very long time. I don't know if you've met my son. Maybe they're in Vegas. He's the big guy that kind of looks like me.
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody ever believes that that's my kid, but yeah, because we started very, very young. But we started off, very poor, and had to learn how to make money, take care of the family, and all that kind of stuff. So I started off in construction, and I built one of the largest construction service companies in California. I had a background, in programming a little bit and technology. So once that company got up and running to where I didn't have to be there every day, I created a software company that was built applications for companies like the United States Post Office. Around 2011, a guy named Max Kaiser got me into Bitcoin. He was telling us how the whole financial crisis and collapse in 2008 could be averted by using this thing called Bitcoin. So, you still there? All right. I guess he's heard this before, peeps, so he just kind of left. But you able to hear me all right still? I want to make sure you can still hear me. Yeah?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Just want to make sure we weren't having difficulties there. So, anyways, Max got me in around 2011. Around 2017, family and friends seemed like everybody was trying to get into crypto. I was very worried about the state of crypto at that time and all the people coming in and it possibly crashing. And I wanted to address all their questions. I had to safely store crypto, sell it, buy it, all that kind of stuff. So I did a video, me and the son, and we put it out there, and people loved it. And they started asking us to do more and more. So basically, I came up with this cheeky little name called Crypto Beadles. It was just for fun. But it took off. And so we ended up doing a bunch of interviews for people so that way they could learn more about the companies. Over the past, I don't know, probably 6 months or so, I've gotten into more of just answering, the family's questions, right? So they'll ask me things about economy. They'll ask me things about personal growth. How can they become successful in environments like this? And so I've done more and more of those types of videos for them. And I've always tried to give away, as much crypto as possible. So I give away a lot of free crypto on every one of our videos to help get people into crypto without having to, spend their own money. And then, through this whole process, we saw a real need for basically a decentralized wallet, a safe place for people to store their money. Because over the years, I'd heard all kinds of horror stories from friends and family and people in the community about how they've lost their crypto due to, losing a seed or a key or, maybe hacked or possibly, exchanges going under and just stealing their funds. So we created the Monarch Wallet, which is, a really cool decentralized wallet. And we gave it to the world for free amidst times where there was companies out there trying to do what we did. And they had, their their market caps were in the tens of millions, like $100 million or even more, and they never even had a product, right? So we just gave it to the world and we kept improving upon it. So we allowed people to use our built-in decentralized exchange. So not only is it a decentralized wallet where they're the monarch of their money, but we also gave them the ability to swap cryptos, to be able to buy and sell cryptos, look at their portfolio, check out the news, always control their seed and key. Then we saw that there was a real need to help the basically the merchant side of things, because as we know with merchants, they get raped in high fees. They get chargebacks where somebody buys something, says they don't get it, then they get the money back from the credit card and the merchant is out the service or product plus the money. So it's kind of scary stuff. Plus they have the ability, these credit card companies or PayPal's just to close your account or freeze your funds for whatever reason that they deem. With MonarchPay, it prevents that from happening. So it's always less than 1% fee. It's decentralized. It's consumer to merchant, merchant to consumer. We're not in the middle. We don't touch the money. We have a new iteration of it coming out in the next couple of weeks with our new smart wallet. So now you don't need to worry about having like Ethereum to send tokens. So we've basically revolutionized so many different things in the blockchain industry to make this as simple as possible so that anybody can use it right there on their website or whatever. So that's live now, the beta that works, but it's, it's still blockchain intensive, but the next couple of weeks, it'll be like a streamlined type PayPal experience. And then we created a video game. And so the video game was nothing that we ever promised to the world or said we would do. It's just something that I felt that to really bring the masses into crypto, into blockchain, what better way than a blockchain, blockchain run smartphone game that you don't have to know anything about blockchain to use it. So that's one of the cool things about it is you can just pick it up and start playing without having to know anything about blockchain whatsoever. However, you get rewarded in crypto. So guess what? Next thing you know, you're basically getting paid to play, and it goes right there to your Monarch wallet, and you can use those tokens to basically do in-app purchases or just convert them right into another currency if you want. So it offers all these cool things. I was hoping to launch it earlier in this year, but due to this COVID stuff and just blockchain being difficult and just in general, everything seems to take longer. And having a decentralized team and a lot of our guys that are worried about COVID working from home, it's taking a little bit longer. So anyways, we're hoping probably the next couple of weeks to a month to get that out to people as well. And I've just done so many different things. In life, God's been, really good to us. So I'll just stop right there and just let you dive in and ask me anything you want.
Wow. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, definitely quite the success story, I believe.
God's
Right. So I have been taking some notes on different topics I would like to cover. So first one, let's go all the way back. So you mentioned you had an earlier company prior to crypto.
Yeah.
That was a construction company, you said?
It's construction service. So we basically have three non-crypto companies of sorts. We do construction services throughout California. So that takes up, a good chunk of my time. That's one of, like I said, God's been great to us. So it's super successful. Then we have a real estate company where we have properties pretty much all over the world, definitely more so in the United States. And then we have Splash Factory, which creates basically the technology behind Monarch, and has done things for people like, the UFC, done things for people like the United States Post Office, a bunch of companies like that. And then, of course, Monarch itself is another animal where, basically it's created by our internal team as well as our distributed teams through Splash Factory that gives that to the world to use today.
All right. So quick question I have. So you mentioned earlier that you grew up poor. Kind of walk us through what it took to get you to launch your first construction company and to be successful in that. Kind of walk us through the process, especially the mental psychology behind that, because not everybody obviously gets success, right? And you, as somebody who's been successful and who's come basically from humble beginnings, walk us through that process.
Yeah, like I said, God's really been great to us. But again, you have to, trust in God, but steer away from the rocks, right? So you basically have to put the time and the effort and the energy into things. And so, being with my wife since we were 14 years old, we were pregnant with our first son, Aaron, at 17. So we didn't have any money. So doing the right thing was, I loved her. She was my best bud. We just got married. Well, of course, now we have the whole world of bills, right? And I got two more mouths to feed. So I had already had some experience in construction. So I went to work for a construction company, and I just kind of worked my way up to the top until one day, the owner of the company, which I had made a lot of money for and was running basically his entire operation, he decided that, he just wanted to come down hard on me that day. And he didn't like some of the things that I was doing because it kind of contradicted what he wanted, which didn't make any sense and was losing money. And he said, look, Beadles, if you want, if you think you can do a better job than me, why don't you go start your own company and get out of here? So I did. And it was, in California where it started, it took time, right? Because you can't just go start a construction company. You have to go get your license, your permits, your equipment, all that kind of stuff. So about over a 6-month period, I learned everything that I had to, that I didn't know, because I knew the one side of the industry. I knew how to do the work, but I didn't know how to get the work and how to work in a company or run a company, all that kind of stuff. So I had to quickly learn as much as I could and go take all the contractor state licensing tests and wait for the approval there. And it took about 6 months, but in that 6-month period, I learned a lot. And I went to work for another construction company, making that guy a bunch of money. But I told him up front, I'm like, look, once I get my license, I'm out of here. And so once I got my license, I was out of there. And we built it from, me and another guy that was only with me for a little bit, to hundreds and hundreds of employees, all over California, and we're expecting to at least quadruple in size, God willing, over the next couple of years as well with that company too.
That's amazing. I mean,
that's one part of it. Yeah.
amazing story. So how long did that entire process take? Like a few years?
So it took me about 6 months from when I quit the one job
To the
to
license.
getting my
Yeah.
license and getting our first contract.
Mhm.
And then from there to, making hundreds of millions of dollars and things like that, that probably took, I don't know, 12.
Wait. Time out. Hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I said, man,
I
we
mean,
built, God's been great to us, and again, that's not what you keep, right? That's
yeah.
just what the business is, generated, right? You got payroll, you've got, benefits and stuff that you have to pay of equipment, so it sounds great, it sounds sexy, right? But it's not like you got $100
Yeah.
in the bank, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
business
Taxes. So,
generates, it generates that kind of.
so how many years did it take to build up to that level of $100 million business?
So I mean, so, to get to about 100 million probably took about 16 years, 15 years, something like that.
Okay. So yeah, a long time.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
to get up to like 3 million probably took about maybe 2 years,
Okay.
something like that. And then I kind of just, I came from nothing, right? So we just
Yeah.
were kind of on autopilot, right? I'm like, okay, cool. It's running fine without me. I could have kept going crazy and building it more and more and more, but I just kind of let the good people that were with me, kind of just stay where it was at. And then I went and started working, with my software stuff. So, in real estate. And then I came back into the construction side of things about 2015 or something like that. And I worked really hard for about 4 or 5 years there, getting it up to where it was and where it is and where it's going. And in addition to all the other stuff that I do.
Amazing. So, I mean, I just have so many questions. Okay, so hold on. Let me just take a step back. So, in about 2 years, built up the business to about 3 million. And then in about 16 years to 100 million. Now, kind of tell us, when you say construction, what kind of work are you doing? Are you doing commercial? Are you doing real estate? Are you doing residential? Are you doing something else? Kind of tell us what kind of construction.
Sure. Yeah, this is mostly like roads and freeways, things like that. Public utility work, working for like AT&Ts and Verizons, and working for like electric and gas companies. Some of the bigger contractors in the state, working for some of them. And then now, here pretty soon we'll be moving down south and expanding there over the next couple years as well. So, but again, most of this stuff it runs now without me. So I have a really great team that is able to do basically all the heavy lifting. So I got, it's one of those things, there is no I in team, right? I know there's a me, right? As the old joke goes, but when it's amazing when you have really great people and you put them in areas of responsibility that appreciate it. Because like most of my top people, they came from nothing too, or they didn't come from the industry. And there's somebody that I saw something in, and I trained them to basically be the person that I needed them to be. And so they've, stayed loyal, and I've taken really good care of them, and I continue to do that. And so they, they're able to run these companies without me. So it allows me to do, all the, some of the other stuff, right? So it allows me to do some of the Monarch stuff, some of the crypto Beadles stuff. Allows me to do the real estate stuff, allows me to do, to grow the construction stuff. So it allows me to do a lot of different things because we have great people. It's not like this is just all me. I mean, this is
absolutely.
grace of God and a bunch of great people with me.
Now, so in the first year of the company, how did you get clients? Was it through RFPs? Was it through sales, cold calling?
Yeah, so it was kind of all of the above. A lot of people, when they try to go out and get work, they really don't know how to do it, right? They're, maybe they're a little nervous, a little shy. They're, they really don't know the process. But with construction stuff, with the construction services side of things, like Caltrans and big organizations like that would put out basically a request for proposal, like you send an RFP. And so you could bid on it. You could send your bid to all the different people that are bidding as the prime contractor on those projects. And so you're basically peppering all these people with who you are, what you do, and how much you cost. That's kind of like how you kind of get your foot in the door. Then I would start picking up the phone and calling them. And I'd be like, yo, I've been bidding to you. I saw you got the job, but you didn't give it to me. What's going on? Why don't you like me? Let's go grab some coffee. You know what I mean? Let's go grab a beer.
Yeah.
Let's find out what's going on here. Right. So, I just started putting pressure, you know what I mean, on people that were getting the work, and I started putting pressure on them to give us some. And next thing you know, they caved, and they're like, all right, I'm tired of you bugging me. I'm going to give you a job. And we knocked it out of the park. We did a great job for them. Because that's one of the things, it's really difficult. It's really easy to find people to do things, but it's really hard to find people that do a good job at things for you. They always seem to, the ones that do really, really well are the ones that take really good care of their customers. And so that's something that, I've always really strived at, is to make sure that they're constantly happy with whatever it is that we're doing. Make sure that you always put the customer first. I know a lot of people say that's, not the right thing to do, but I think it is. You offer an amazing product or service, and then you really take good care of your customers, and you take even better care of your employees, your family, the people that help actually keep the service and product out there for people.
I mean, that's great. That's great news. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about, you mentioned that you also invest in real estate. So
yeah,
I'm guessing after having some success in construction, you then began investing in real estate. Kind of walk us through your investment philosophy or process in terms of real estate investing, and then also tell us your thoughts on the market right now, especially in this pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at things like what's going on in this world right now, with this pandemic, what a lot of people don't understand is the middle class is getting decimated right now. They don't realize that they're printing all this money, and there's going to be a heavy toll at the end. I forget what the current debt clock says, but basically, our money that we owe for all the different. Let me pull it up real quick. It's a crazy number. I want to say it's like almost $80 trillion are unfunded liabilities. And this here, let me just U.S. debt clock. I want to say it's close to 80 trillion, just for unfunded. Yeah. So right now, this is what it shows. It shows U.S. total debt for the unfunded debt and interest and liabilities of $77 trillion. And that doesn't take into account the new funny money that they're going to be printing in this new stimulus package, right? So the reason why I say that is there's no way that we're ever going to be able to pay that back, ever. Not our generation, not future generations. It's going to inflate, basically the currency. It's coming. I know that there's a counter argument to this, and I know that there's also a group of people out there saying that this is all by design, and Trump is going to end up adding sound money and removing all this crazy debt. But without that happening, just sticking to like the basics here, the middle class, if you look over the past, 30 years, their wages have only gone up around $7,000 a year. But if you look at all their expenses have gone up anywhere from 2 to 4x what they used to be, from, from like the 80s to now, 89 to now, something like that. Their expenses have gone up a lot. And the reason why I say this is the more money they print, the less your money is worth, as you can see by the expenses are going up. But if you're only making $7,000 more in the past, basically like 30, 40 years, it's unsustainable. And so all this money that they're printing is going to decimate the middle class unless something astronomical changes here very, very quickly. And so I wrote a book in 2010 called Here's What You Do. A lot of my friends and family were asking me, how'd you make your money? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? So I just wrote a simple book that talks about basically investing in assets, because the currency is basically funny money. There's nothing backing it. A lot of people know this stuff, but this wasn't popular to say back then. And now more people are starting to understand it, but yet they're taking these $1,200 checks and they don't realize that it's basically the death of them. So anyways, I started investing in real assets, right? Whether it was gold and silver, real estate, things that no matter what currency you're in, you're going to need more currency to purchase the asset. So I never thought about, hey, let's go buy this Lamborghini, let's go buy this, this yacht, this expensive toys. Never. I just bought assets, real estate all over the country. And in some places outside of the country. But again, I just knew that this debt is unsustainable. Printing of money, I didn't want to be wiped out. I warned people about it. Stocks and things like that are scary as well, because they can go to zero. So can a lot of cryptos. But people always need a roof over their head. People always need, they need a place to live. And there's usually some kind of government subsidy or government program to help a lot of the, some of the middle class, or even like the really poor people. There's subsidies out there for them. So knowing that as a landlord, if you have really good properties, really nice properties, they're not slum, and you take really good care of your tenants, they stay there for a long time. So you get that passive income. Plus, you have the appreciation of the actual asset. So no matter what currency you're in, it typically goes up in value, other than in 2008 for obvious reasons. But again, it doesn't really matter, because even in 2008, when the housing prices came down, guess what? the rent still kept coming in, because I never really buy houses thinking I'm going to sell them. They're just passive income machines. They're just always printing money. And so you get the appreciation, and then you're able to depreciate, the actual house itself against your taxes and things like that. So that was something that I knew was, super important. And it's something that you can pass on to future generations. They'll always have, passive income coming in, and always have assets there that, are family owned.
Nice, nice. I mean, that's definitely the way to go, because even me, myself, I haven't yet made any investments in real estate, but it's something I have been meaning to do. I've just kind of been distracted with crypto. Now, what's the book's name you mentioned?
Oh, Here's What You Do.
Here's What You Do. And where can people find that book?
It's out there still. I took it down.
Website, Amazon or something?
Yeah, it's probably still on Amazon. Yeah, I wrote it and I put it out there to the world, and then my family and friends and a lot of people in the neighborhood wanted me to run for public office. So
Wow.
I took down the book because I didn't want to have a book up while running for Congress. And then I quickly realized that running for public office was not for me whatsoever. So I just decided to help, good people get into office versus be the guy that, is on office. Yeah, it's
Where
a
was
really,
this? In California?
yeah, in California, 2010. So it was, yeah, it's definitely not for me. I definitely want nothing to do with politics, but I have no problem helping good people get elected into politics if that's what they want. But it is a dirty, dirty game. You know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
tolling on the families.
Politicians.
Yeah, they're they gotta have some thick skin, to do that for sure. So
Yeah. That's great though. That's great. Okay, so then I'm just going here through my notes. So you have the software company as well. Kind of walk us through how that began.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to build the good old, BBSs, the bulletin board, systems, and, have, take over the phone line. And, my parents would get all mad, when I was a kid, because, they'd go to use the phone, and next thing you know, you're hearing basically, the like a fax machine, of course. But, yeah, the good old modem screams. So anyways, I guess I was building like the BBSs when I was a kid. I always loved my little Amigas and Commodore 64s, my 18060Xs, and I always just had a kind of a passion for that stuff. And when the construction stuff got onto a road where it didn't need me driving it all the time, I was able to kind of put together a team that builds really cool stuff. So I've always had kind of this, I don't know, this creativity to me, to where I see a need and I'm able to fill it. And sometimes, that's not a very big need. I've failed plenty of times at a lot of things, but I like to make things. And so I found that rather than, I guess, subbing it out of sorts, why not build it in house? And so it started with a reusable envelope. So I created this reusable envelope that the United States Post Office was very interested in. They were testing it and doing all kinds of stuff with it. But at the same time, I had a reusable greeting card, which sounds kind of crazy, right? A reusable greeting card.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that obviously didn't take off, but the technology within it did. See, what we did is we created something called memory tag. And so that's myself and one of my good buddies, Uriah Faber, if you follow the UFC. So we used to, sponsor a bunch of UFC fighters, and they'd be out there walking around with memory tag on their trunks and things like that, getting the word out. And what it was a greeting card that we created, this basically a memory tag within it that allowed you to put your own video or photo or a digital gift card with all these cool, witty, sayings and stuff. And so we made all the cards ourselves, all the sayings, all the artwork, and we made the technology ourselves. And so, we put those in stores, all over the world, and it was, a lot of fun. But anyways, the post office saw that. They saw what we created. And so they started hitting me up and asking me, questions about different things that they were trying to do. And they were picking my brain all the time about trying to, solve different problems they were having. And next thing you know, we're building applications for them. So, and then of course, and when crypto came along, the need for the wallet, we just diverged some of our resources and assets within to start, building Monarch, and then gave that to the world for free. And then we started going full time, just building, MonarchPay and adding additional stuff to Monarch Wallet. So we've, it's been a long process, but it's been a lot of fun. And we've created a lot of really cool stuff that I've never really shared with the world, but the stuff works and it's incredible. And maybe one of these days, if there's enough time, maybe we'll put some of this stuff out there for people.
That's great. That's great.
In addition to everything we already do.
I mean, so you're basically a Renaissance man, like you're cultured in so many different ventures: real estate, construction, crypto, software. So now let's get into crypto. Okay,
Sure.
so how did you discover crypto, Bitcoin, and what did you think when you
Yeah. So
discovered it?
yeah, good old Max Kaiser. So it was around February of 2011. He was on one of the shows like Alex Jones or one of the basically the non-mainstream media stuff. Talking about what Bitcoin was and how it could save us from another potential 2008 financial collapse and crisis, and how we the people could basically send money to each other, person to person, peer to peer, electronic cash, without the need of a third party. Thought that was pretty freaking cool. So I started playing with it and getting into it, and just basically just kind of growing and just growing the portfolio, over the years. And then in 2017, when my family and friends were asking me, the same questions over and over again, we created the Crypto Beadles channel, just to kind of help them. And next thing you know, it kind of grew all over the world. So, we then from that started seeing all the problems in blockchain and crypto for the actual just like regular everyday user plus the merchants. So that's when we started creating actual products and services for the world, for merchants, for users, to actually start using blockchain and crypto without having to actually know anything about it. And so that's been one of the biggest struggles and pitfalls of crypto to date. Is it's really complicated. It's difficult to get people into it to understand how to use it, because it requires different skill sets, and a lot of people don't have yet. So what I'm trying to do is make everything, myself and Sneh, we're trying to make everything to where it's just intuitive, where you don't have to know anything about crypto. You're just sending tokens or using a product or a service, and it's using blockchain, and it works great, and it's safe, and it's decentralized. So that way it stays true to basically, the Bitcoin beginnings of it can be peer-to-peer. You don't have to have that third party. So on Monarch, it sounds like a scary name or something, but what it is it allows you and you alone to be the monarch of your money. So that way you don't have somebody else with their hands in your money. Like Monarch doesn't store anybody's money. We don't touch anybody's money. The user generates their own wallets. It's stored, locally with them. They and they alone have their seed or their keys. We don't have any of that stuff. When it comes to MonarchPay, it's the exact same thing. It's a decentralized blockchain smart wallet that we created. It uses Ethereum plus about, right now it's MonarchPay is basically all Ethereum based because of the smart, basically all the
Smart contracts.
the smart contracts, but also because we're using stable coins and stable tokens, because merchants, as you know, we've seen these big swifts, these big swooping prices that just change overnight for merchants. And that volatility is great for traders, but it's a horrible business model for a business owner, because they got to make payroll. And so if they got $100 and that's all they got left to their name, and then Bitcoin drops 85%, what do? How do they pay their bills? Or, go bigger, say it's $100,000 and it drops 50%. Now they only got 50 grand. How are they going to make payroll? How are they going to pay their bills? So we wanted to implement using just stable coins and stable tokens in there. So Ethereum right now is what we're using on MonarchPay, because I haven't seen anything else out there yet. Any other blockchain that has anything that's stable. I mean, you got the Omni protocol with Tether, but Tether's also on Ethereum. So, it just made more sense to use stable coins and stable tokens using smart contracts based on Ethereum. Whereas the Monarch Wallet has about, 7 or 10 blockchains in it. But just for MonarchPay, it's just stable coins and stable tokens. You could use Ethereum if you wanted to, but yeah, I think most businesses want to know that if they made a buck, they kept a buck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, what are the main differences that make it different from other non-custodial wallets?
Well, so with for instance, so with Monarch, we've got our smart wallet that'll be released in like the next couple of weeks, and so you'll be able to send any kind of token that you want that's Ethereum based without having to hold Ethereum. So think about how big of a game changer that is.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, so that works now. We're releasing it after we have the UX and the UI a little bit better. But again, with even like the Monarch wallet, it's basically one app that can control them all. So you could have your decentralized wallet. It has a built-in DEX, so you got a decentralized exchange in it. You can buy and sell crypto. You'll be able to use Apple Pay and Google Pay here really quickly as well. You've got your own portfolio management, thing in there. You've got your own, you got the ability to see the news. You and you alone control the seed and the keys, all that kind of stuff. With MonarchPay, again, it's super low fee and it's completely decentralized, so you don't have to worry about somebody shutting down your account or stealing your funds. And it just works all the time. And so even if Monarch went out of business one day, you just take your seed and then you just throw it in any other decentralized wallet, and poof, you would have your money back. You know, a lot of other places, they have all these weird things that you have to do to like reclaim your money or get your money. And some of it is like facial recognition that, you know, if you put on some weight or somebody uses, you know, a picture, you know, it's still really new things that could have bad consequences. So with Monarch, like I said, you alone control your seed. So even if Monarch went out of business tomorrow, they could still take their seed and just go throw it in another wallet, and whatever wallet that is, as long as it, you know, basically supports the same cryptocurrencies, it'll show up right there in that other wallet. And if it doesn't support those cryptocurrencies, you just find a wallet that does, and then you put the seed in that wallet, and then you get your crypto there as well. So that way you're always a Monarch. You can go anywhere in the world and use your money however you want.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so let me just check in here with the audience and see how we're doing. All right, so Cyclone says, "Hey, Beetle."
Hey, what's up, Cyclone?
He says, "Hey, Ian, you both are legends in the space. Thank you, Cyclones. We appreciate it." Okay, so a question from Cyclones. Let me just give me 1 second here. Okay, so he's asking, what are your thoughts on Ethereum 2.0 and staking rewards? We'll get to that level. Okay, so okay, how about this? Let's save all the token related questions towards the end. But if you do have any questions for Crypto Beadles, just post them in the chat and we'll make sure to ask them. Okay, just want to make sure we have all those kind of off-topic questions towards the end. Okay, let's talk about the video game.
All right. Yeah, so that I'm hoping, like I said, I was hoping to get it out months ago, but we just keep making it better and better and better. And it's actually really addicting. And it's super simple to use. It allows for, you can pick your own character of sorts. Here pretty soon you'll be able to add your own skins, you know, kind of like a Modern Warfare, PUBG type thing. But it's very simple to use, smartphone game, runs on blockchain. Every week, a winner is chosen as well, whoever has the highest scores, and they're actually paid like a lump sum of crypto, you know, Monarch tokens. And then what else do we got in there? It's multiplayer, so you can play with your friends. You can chat with your friends. It has all the basic functions that you would expect in, you know, one of these top line, you know, endless runner type games that people use all the time, that are, you know, smartphone games. So it's very easy to use. And then there's another layer to it. It's like, okay, so now you've mastered playing the game, or you like playing it. That's great. But look at all these rewards you're getting. What do you want to do with them? And so then it starts teaching them how to, you know, use the wallet, use crypto, and, you know, I think it's going to do really, really well. We have a really great, you know, community already within Monarch, and this type of stuff, I just think people everywhere will just enjoy it and use it, and I've never seen anything like it. And so it's another way to help, you know, get Monarch awareness, help get people into blockchain and crypto, or just simply let somebody play a really cool and fun game. So it's pretty incredible. I'm hoping a couple of weeks. You know, every week it seems like there's another setback, right? Because you're dealing with Apple and Google, and so they make changes, and so we have to, you know, make changes, of course. Or we're kind of picky, and so when we look at
to launch,
a couple weeks, yeah, I'm hoping a couple weeks, yeah. But
right.
I'm one of those picky guys, and so is a lot of people on the team, and so we see like little tweaks. We want the UX and the UI, and every time you make a little tweak, well, then you have to make a new packet, you have to upload it back up to Google or Android, so it takes time. But yeah, I'm hoping in a couple weeks we're going to have the first version of it out there for people, and I think that people everywhere are going to really love it.
Now, is that built on Ethereum blockchain or some other blockchain?
Yeah, it's built on Ethereum as well.
So how do you handle the scaling? Because I thought that Ethereum doesn't really handle games well. Now, are you doing everything off chain?
Yeah. So yeah, this game here in particular, the only part of it that's actual like going to be blockchain dependent, that has a potential for clogging, would be when they're actually converting, you know, the actual token into another token, because everything is done locally within their phone. So we found a way to basically do credits to crypto within the phone. And then the blockchain aspect of it isn't going to be like everybody's on the chain at the same time trying to play the game, because we all know Ethereum can't handle that. So I just have bits and pieces of it that actually use blockchain. So basically people always control their funds. their wallet, they have, their personal information, all that stuff is saved there as well, but it's not enough to clog up the chain.
All right, that's good. That's good.
It uses the best. It uses the best of Ethereum, and not all the stuff that doesn't work so well.
All right, so we had a question here from somebody in the comments. He's asking, this comes from Twitter, from the Crypto Plan Group. How long did it take you to finish the wallet?
It's never finished. I don't know that it'll ever be finished. When did Monarch Wallet first come available? I believe I think we launched version 1. I think it was was it 2017, 2018? I think it might have been, I come to think it might have been around March 2018, something like that, when the first version of our wallet came out. And we've just been making it better ever since. So we have like a new update coming out. I'm hoping that it's going to be in the next 2 weeks or something, where we've added Apple and Google Pay, and then we've also added Monarch Health. So Monarch Health uses one of our partners that allows for basically telemedicine and for like really cheap prescriptions. It's like $25 a month or something like that through them, and basically now you have access 24 hours a day to to healthcare professionals, as well as being able to get prescription drugs. I think it's up to 6 people. So like 6 people in your family could be using the same account for like $25, a month. I just thought that was something really cool.
Wow.
Snay brought it to me, and Snay, especially through all this COVID crap that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people aren't able to get in and see the doctors because they're worried about this fake flu. So a lot of people are getting sick, because they're scared to go out and venture out because they're afraid of this invisible, fake flu that kills. Mm-hmm. My numbers are right. It's somewhere around 10% of 1% of people die from COVID. So I mean, think about that: 10% of 1%, and 94% of that people had pre-existing conditions. So it's somebody like has pneumonia or something like that, and all these people were being incentivized to fudge the numbers, so to speak, as we've seen so many different instances of this. If you go on my Twitter feed and you look at my wall right there, just Robert Beadles, you can see all the links that I post to that just show how blown out of proportion this is, and it's all about control. And and the problem is, it's about control. It's about Democrats on one side, Republicans on another. We're in the middle getting screwed. But people, they need to be able to see their doctors. They need they have pre-existing conditions, right? They have issues. And so when Snay brought this to me, I said, all right, cool, let's do it. So it can help people as well, be able to see their healthcare professionals in times like this. So that should be live, I'm hoping, within the next month or so.
I mean, is there anything you don't do?
There's quite a few things.
Monarch Health, I mean, that's nice. That's it's definitely something that's greatly needed right now.
Yeah. But again, a lot of this stuff too comes from having great partners. We have some amazing partners, so not only do we have like an amazing team, but I mean, some of the people like on our team, like we have the creator of the smart contract. So, we've got David Zembeck. He was the first one before Vitalik Buterin to actually create a smart contract. So, like we got him. We've got, of course, all of our in-house guys that are incredible as well. We've got like Roger Ver. A lot of people like or don't like him.
Yeah.
But he's been one of the biggest proponents in blockchain and Bitcoin more than anybody, I would say. Got like Eric Lee, the co-founder of LinkedIn. We got G over there on Listia, and we got Damon Nam, got Enzo, Josh Fair, Dimitri Nazarov. I mean, all these guys have built extremely successful businesses, and they're all part of the team. And then of course we have companies like Bitcoin.com, that's one of our partners. Got Toddle, we got Scrumble, got Celsius, Polymath, Unstoppable Domains, GoChain, Underwing, CoinFlip, Ambisafe, Token Tax, BitBay, Listia, Inc., Swarm, Snowball, Coinvest, Bancor, Genesis Vision, a whole bunch of them. So we're always adding all these companies that add benefit. We are able to plug them into Monarch as well through our hub. So that way it's really one place where people can have access to all the best things without us having to be the one that's actually creating them, if that makes sense. Because I don't want to, basically be a competitor to Polymath, right? But they have a really cool, they have really cool stuff that they're doing. So we can plug them in. It's like Toddle. I don't want to be doing everything that Toddle's doing, right? So we plug them into us. So our users have access to their services, their users have access to our services. It's really just a win-win for everybody. And so with Monarch Health, it's no different. We're not the ones that are creating that. We're plugging it in to Monarch that allows our users to have access to it and to allow them to now have access to, good healthcare, especially when people are locked down. I mean, you look at LA, they're talking about locking it down for the 3 months. 3 months. Ridiculous.
That's wild.
Ridiculous.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy times.
All right. So a question here from Facebook from Stefan Youngblood. He's asking, what are your thoughts on blockchain domains? You did mention you are working with a partner on blockchain domain, I think Unstoppable Domains.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them out there right now. We haven't currently plugged anything into Monarch yet as far as blockchain domains. I'm still a little worried about people losing their crypto because, as you know, with blockchain, it's a push technology. So it makes it very difficult. If you send it to the wrong address, you could lose your funds. So I've really been waiting to see like a standard be used before we implement anything, because I don't want anybody ever losing their money. And, with like a 0x address, your Ethereum, if you send it to the wrong 0x address, guess what? Your money's gone forever. And so there's possibilities for that to happen with a lot of these different blockchain domain companies. There's also issues with them being the ones that could actually have access to your funds in some cases. There's issues where if they go out of business, you might lose access to your funds in some cases. So I've really been waiting before we implement anything in that like that in Monarch to find something that's that's kind of like battle tested and is kind of becoming the norm for all these other exchanges to use and for people to use before we just start plugging in different variations. And because you got to remember right now, so many people don't even understand that to send like a Monarch token or to send any kind of Ethereum token that they need Ethereum in there. You know what I mean? So they don't know that, okay, well, I have to have Ethereum to actually send this other token. So many people don't know that. And, they say they've been on blockchain a long time, and I can show you the support tickets that we get. They think that we stole their money, right? Because they'll be like, I can't send my money. I can't send my money. You locked my money. It's like, dude, we don't have access to your money. It's in your wallet. But what are you trying to do? Well, I'm trying to send, my token here. I'm like, well, do you have Ethereum? Like, what's that? Like, well, that's the coin you need to pay the miners and the gas fees to send your token. Oh, it's like, so when you start talking about blockchain domains, it adds another level of complication, because not everybody is going to support that until you have something that is wildly supported, like you see with Ethereum and, like Bitcoin and those, everybody knows what those addresses are and you just kind of send it to. Yeah. Is it a pain in the butt? Yep. That's why we addressed it in Monarch. So that way, I believe on our PC and Apple versions, if you've sent crypto, like say I sent crypto to your address, well, next time I want to send you money, I just say, I can label you as like a contact. So I'll just say Ian. So the next time I want to send, $25 of Ethereum to Ian, I just click Ian and I hit $25 and it just sends to you. So you don't have to worry about, typing in or copy pasting a 0x address and getting it wrong. So we have done that, and I think we'll probably have that in the actual mobile wallet here shortly too. So that is something we are doing. But again, I'm a little leery on blockchain addresses just at the moment until it gets more widely adopted and used by more and more exchanges and things like that.
All right. So question here from Offshore Crypto. He's asking, first of all, thank you so much for the tip or donation. We appreciate it. Okay, so thoughts on donut tokens on Uniswap used on ETH trader subreddits built by ETH community. I'm not sure I understand. Okay, I think it's asking about the Reddit token that just came out. I think the loot token.
We saw
something else.
We saw Telegram, get basically stopped or halted, and now it looks like Reddit, is able to start using their own tokens. I don't know enough about it to speak too intelligently about it. And I think he's talking about Uniswap, and we use Uniswap within Monarch as well. But I'm not sure what donut tokens are.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I mean, I think whatever Reddit is doing, it's definitely big, because Reddit is one of the top 10 biggest sites in the world, I believe. So the two subreddits that have exposure to the token have about 20 million people. So, I mean, I think that's just great for the space. Obviously, they'll kind of land and expand and then probably expand to other subreddits. So it's good to have really people who are evangelizing crypto as well.
Definitely. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
All right. So tell us about the token, Monarch token. How does that work?
Well, we got two tokens basically. We have one that's for accredited investors. It's the Monarch MTS token that basically they get a portion of our income. The way Monarch makes money or will make money if we ever get to critical mass where we get a lot of people outside of crypto into it, is it gets a really small percentage of the transaction fees. That's basically the business model. And so the people that hold MTS tokens get, I think it's like 15 or 20% of our income. So they're paid, I think, quarterly. And then the actual utility token itself for the rest of the world are the things that'll be used to lower fees. So instead of paying like a 1% fee, you'd be paying a 0.5% fee. It's also the token that's used to pay the income of the people that hold the MTS tokens. It's also what'll be used within our video game that allow you to buy in-app purchases or swap for like Ethereum or something else. So lots of cool use cases and lots more that's coming for it all the time. But basically, it works with as a utility within the actual Monarch ecosystem to lessen fees, and then also to use it to actually purchase things within like the smartphone game and things like that. So, and then also to pay the MTS holders.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Okay, so if you have any questions for Robert, please just ask them in the questions down below. Keep them coming. Okay, let me take a look here. We already talked about the video games. MoseTube says this is inspirational. Absolutely. I mean, I think he definitely has a great story. Also, he's been joined by a great team. Yeah, CryptoPlan says, love the show. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Where's all the people talking at? I got the YouTube up right here. So
I have like Restream where it posts in comments across everywhere. Gotcha. So yeah, because we have 2 YouTube channels, 2 Facebooks, and 2 Twitters. So the comments are coming in from everywhere.
Awesome. I can see I got a few of my brothers over there. We got Shahid. What is up, Shahid? Got Sarian. What is up? Got nice. What else we got here? We got Meta Crypto. What is up? Yeah.
Okay, so comment here.
Cyclones.
From Mo'al on YouTube. Beadles, what's the next blockchain you're adding to Monarch?
We've got a list of so many different ones that the family wants us to add. I initially wanted to add Monero, but I really worry about the privacy side of things. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with regulation and things like that. So we didn't add Monero. I think right now we've got, let's see, I know we added Digibyte. We have so many, but I think the newest one that we're adding, I know we already built everything out. I think it's Tron. A lot of people like Tron. So I think that's the next one that's being added. But one thing that it's really a pain to add all these blockchains to Monarch, because when they fork or when they make some kind of update or upgrade, it makes it more work for us within Monarch to address those upgrades within the wallet. So what I've found is I'm really focusing me and the team on adding more services. Not so much more coins and more blockchains, but more services that people would want and use. Because you've seen so many crypto projects come and go, and we have to be very careful, who we add to the wallet, what blockchains we add to the wallet, how stable those chains are, because it makes a lot of work for us. It's a ton of work, and we run all of our own nodes, and a lot goes into it. So I think Tron is proved to be stable enough. Whether you like them, love them, hate them, that's just what the family wants, right? So I keep my opinion out of it, but that's probably the next one we'll add. But right now we're really focused on the MonarchPay, the new release of that, our video game, Monarch Health, and all the services that we're adding that add value, to the entire world versus just one token holder.
All right, that's great to know. Okay, so next question. Somebody's asking. This comes from Satoshi Shiba Numa on YouTube. Are you taking on PayPal?
No, I don't think we would ever be successful trying to take on PayPal. PayPal, is, has, basically it has a need, right? People use it. A lot of people like it. A lot of people don't like it. But what we are is something a little different. So with Monarch, it's a decentralized platform. So we're not the PayPal. We're not the Monarch of your money. You're the Monarch. Taking them on we're just like an option. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when you go to like a website and you want to check out, you can see with like pay with Visa, pay with MasterCard, pay with PayPal, pay with Monarch. Well, it's just an additional service, just another option. If you want to use a stable token, if you want to use stable crypto and you want to, basically just do it yourself right to the merchant with nobody in between, low fees, it's just another option. But it would be reckless of me to say that we're taking on PayPal. We're just an additional service out there for people to use that I think adds a crap ton of value.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so Meta Crypto is asking, do you have any plans to add staking?
We have like Neo, it's there's staking there for gas. I know that Snay, my co-founder and CEO, he's been talking to several different companies that over the past year have been trying to integrate with us. But again, staking, like we have Celsius that's built into us. So if you want to earn interest on your crypto, you can do that. Alex Mashinsky, he's been around a long time, very successful dude, very trustworthy. Some of these other staking services, I'm sure there's some good ones out there. I haven't done as much research as Snay has on it because he's had a bunch of meetings with these people, but I've already seen one or two of them either go out of business or merge and get bought by another company. So I'm very leery about adding new services with partners because we will never touch your money. So just like with Celsius, we don't have, any say on what happens to your crypto. So if you want to start earning interest, you basically through the Monarch Wallet, it goes from Monarch, your account, when you send it over to a Celsius account, which is now centralized, basically meaning that BitGo, the service provider that Celsius uses, is holding your crypto. And so
Mm-hmm.
if the market goes up and you want to get out of it and maybe there's some delays, that's not us. That's, a centralized service, or maybe the market crashes and you can't get your tokens or coins out fast enough. There's issues, right? Of course, something just going out of business altogether. So with staking, that's what I've mostly seen. And even some of the decentralized stuff that is supposedly staking, there's problems with the smart contracts where people lose all their money because they didn't write a smart contract. They wrote a stupid smart contract, and people think that, if it's just decentralized and it's just a blockchain, everything's great. Well, no, if you have to backdoor for hackers, they can come in and take the money. And we've seen this happen too. So my long-winded explanation is when something is safe that we've vetted, that the people decide that they really want, and there's a really big demand for it, which I don't see right now, then we'll add it. But it's going to be a minute.
All right. So it's now time to put you in the hot seat. So everyone that comes on the show, we put them in the hot seat where we ask them basically rapid fire questions. Don't worry, I have a feeling you'll handle this fine, just fine. So the first question is, what are 3 books you've read that changed your life?
3 books. Well, The Richest Man in Babylon is now when I read the Bible every night. So the Bible is number 1 for me. But I think you're talking about self-help and things like that. So I would say first the Bible, number 1, 100%. Then I would Richest Man in Babylon. That's another really good one. Then, I really love The Art of War, but it's a little bit hard to digest for a lot of people. So, Sun Tzu, it's one of the oldest books. It's really, great information. But another really good one too is, Think and Grow Rich. That's another one by Napoleon Hill. And these are all kind of old school books, as you can see.
Classics, though.
I'm an old school guy, right? And there's so many, like Tim Ferriss books and all that kind of stuff that's out there. But most of them are taking the best principles of these books that I'm mentioning right now, and they're just finding another way to present it to you. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, that's another incredible book for people that are just trying to understand how to start a business, and how people the mindset that they should have before they venture into business. Those are some pretty solid books.
Great list, great list. I mean, they're all classics. I've read all of them. Yeah, I've read all of them. The Bible, obviously, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon. What was the other one you mentioned?
Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
That too, yeah.
Yep. Then you got, of course, you get all the Dale Carnegie books that are out there that are pretty incredible too. So,
good list, good list.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Besides family and friends, and God, who are 3 people in history, past or present, who have inspired you?
People that have inspired me, not family, not friends, and not God.
Yeah.
People that have inspired me. Say Lee Iacocca. He was a guy that that I found a lot of value in things that he said and did. Not family, see, because it's mostly family and friends. So you're, because I really
made it kind of tough, huh?
yeah, because the first thing I think of is I go to the Bible, right? So you're talking about you look at Daniel, or you look at David, and even Solomon, right? So, but then when you're talking about actual people from outside the Bible, I'd say Lee Iacocca is a good one. I would say that I mean, other than people from the Bible, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. So how about this
Warren Buffett guy and all this? Everybody else knows. I know all the Steve Jobs, the Bezos, everything that people always normally say. That's just, I just more from the Bible.
Question for you. So kind of follow-up question. So on the Bible, have you always been a person of faith, or was there a moment that made you more faithful and kind of drift to the Bible even more?
I mean, I grew up a Christian family. That's normally how things go. But I quickly realized growing up, the more that I put on him, the better it got for me and for the people around me. And I realized that it wasn't a coincidence. And a lot of people think that, it's just, you're basically just, praying to the air, or he's not really there. Maybe he is there, maybe he's not there. But I realized quickly that when I would ask for things, if I was supposed to get them, I would get them. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't. And it's one of those things, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it all, or, and then like the Garth Brooks song, thank God for unanswered prayers. I started to realize that everything in my life was happening, for a reason. And, I give all the credit to God, family, and all of our employees, and basically their family too, for all of our successes. And it's just been one of those those gradual growths where you kind of know it as a kid. When you're a kid, you're going to church, you're not really digging it. You just can't wait to get out of there. It's kind of boring. But then as you start getting a little bit older, I started to connect the dots and do more reading, and things just became a lot more clear. And when you look at the Bible, you get like a 4,000-year-old book that tells you the whole history of the world. Whenever you have questions, you can go there and you can find the answers. It's pretty incredible. Most scientists, they want us to believe that two rocks slammed together and created everything. Where the rocks come from? Where the rocks come from, right?
Now that would definitely make this show go on probably twice as long.
Right?
All right, so we're moving on to the next part of the hot seat. What are 3 actions you've taken in your life that have transformed your life and changed it?
So 3 actions. Okay, so I mean, putting my faith and trust in God. Always trying to better and improve myself. So I don't even have a high school diploma. You know what I mean? So I have an adult school diploma, but I don't even have a high school diploma. I don't have college degrees. I'm completely self-taught, self-read. I go usually against the mainstream way of thinking. So when people are constantly saying the same thing, it's like, okay, something bad's going to happen, because everybody knows that when everybody knows, usually things bad go happen. Like when you look at Bitcoin, everybody's saying buy Bitcoin in 2017. You watch my video, I'm telling everybody, be careful. It could go to zero, it could crash. This thing's going to dump. And it did. Well, the taxi guy in the front seat's telling you buy Bitcoin. He just made a bunch of money on it. So don't pay attention to the mainstream. That goes for the media. That goes for like what the common perception is. So kind of train your brain how to see the truth in things, and not just discount your own opinions and your own thoughts, your own research, and take somebody else's word for anything. You should never do that. You should never just listen to other people, whether they're highly respected or whatever. You should always draw your own conclusions, come to your own conclusions, and do it in kind of like whenever it's something important, be methodical about it. Actually do the research and figure out how you came to that conclusion. Don't just blindly listen to people. So that's a big thing for me. So it's faith in God, learning everything that I possibly can, being self-taught, and then going against the mainstream. Especially look at the news. Stay away from like CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all that stuff. It's fear porn. That's all it is. It's just trying to control us, trying to keep us locked in our houses. They make everything look bad. Everything is about dividing people. Like when I say this, it probably upsets some people, and so now they look at me different because it divides people. We're not really getting the truth. So always seek out the truth.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so let's take a few more questions and then we'll wrap up the show.
Cool.
Okay, so question from Meta Crypto. How does Monarch compare with smart contract wallet like Argent?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Argent at all. Sorry, buddy. I know what we build. And I know ours is safe, secure. You'll be able to use it here in the next couple of weeks without having to hold Ethereum. So you'll be able to send tokens right from it. It's pretty freaking cool. I don't know anybody else doing that. So yeah, sorry without I haven't heard.
Now I think Argent is mainly a DeFi wallet because I have tried it out, but I haven't really used it much.
I don't know. I mean, you've seen how DeFi has worked, where they have the interest, where people were staking their Ethereum or whatever, and they just disappeared. What happened to it? It's not really a smart contract. So there's all kinds of instances out there, and I don't know anything about Argent, so I really can't tell you. I can tell you what we built is pretty incredible, and it works today, and it's going to work tomorrow, and it's going to get better every single week. So.
All right. So next question. This comes from Kaz on YouTube. When will Monarch token be used for discounts on transactions?
Yeah, so right now it's currently used to pay MTS holders. It'll be used for discounts in about 2 weeks with our new MonarchPay release, and it'll be used within the smartphone game day one. So within the next couple of weeks, you'll see a lot more uses for it. Everything from cutting transaction fees to actually being able to swap it for other crypto, to be able to use it to buy in-game purchases, things like that. So a lot more over the next couple of weeks for sure.
Awesome. Okay, well, any last words, Robert? I mean, this has been quite the show. You really have such a great success story. I mean, because to come where you come from humble beginnings, to do well with building your own business as in construction, to do well in real estate, to now get into crypto and build Monarch and the software company, but also give back to people in crypto through education and through just knowledge, right? Just because I feel like knowledge is power. Because when people get success, so many people think they can just kind of donate. But to me, I feel like it's better to teach somebody how to fish than to give them fish, right? And I think with everything you're doing and your platform, you have definitely, you're teaching people how to fish, essentially.
I appreciate you. Yeah. Thanks a bunch for having me on. Love you all, everybody out there, including yourself. Appreciate you. I would guess, just to close on, for people that want to learn more about Monarch, you can go to monarchwallet.com. You go to monarchpay.com. Anybody wants to learn more about me, you can just type in cryptobeadles.com, and links to all my socials are there. But yeah, everybody out there, just, stay sane, because we're living through some crazy times right now.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, it is nowhere near as bad as they're trying to make it sound. And anybody that looks into it, you can look on my Twitter wall. I won't, take another hour to explain all the craziness that we, the people, are allowing to happen from these elected dictators. Basically, they're locking us in our houses and keeping society down. It's a very troubling time right now. So make sure that you're staying safe and sane, and definitely stay educated out there, peeps.
All right, we'll do. And thank you, everybody. Once again, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this show. This was a great show. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit, to the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody.
God bless.